Hope everybody's doing good. My name is Chris. This is Wheelhouse Trading, and welcome to the Wheelhouse. So if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe, hit the like, select all. Don't forget, we have up to $30,600 in stocks that you can get by using my referral link down below. You get fractional shares, you get full shares. It's a generator. You don't know what you're going to get, but I do know there's a lot of Amazon and a lot of Apple in there right now, especially Apple. So if you're not on Webull, it's a great platform for a lot of reasons, and getting some free shares just for signing up takes you a couple minutes. Is really good. We're going to be having an affiliate link for MEXC Global Crypto Exchange. You can trade on there, leverage trade as well, all types of great trading applications on there, and we'll have an affiliate link for a prop trading firm as well. And I just want to do a shout out to my friend's channel. He started a YouTube channel, CryptoMinuteRun. Check him out. I'll put the link in the description for him. And let's get started. Let's talk about the week. Let's talk about quite a few different things. I want to talk about what we're working on at the Wheelhouse. We'll start there just so you have an understanding, and then I want to talk about the indexes. I want to go through sectors, some things that might happen this week, some things to look out for and be aware of. And I want to show you some cool stuff in the charts, as well as some crypto stuff as well. So let's go ahead and get started. What we're working on at the Wheelhouse is basically a system, okay? And the system has a whole bunch of features, identifying pivots, where institutional sellers are, when to enter, when to exit. And it's got over 70 different things built in, from linear regressions to alligators, Bollinger Bands, parabolic SARs. We have liquidity blocks, VWAPs. It goes on and on and on, okay? RSIs, Chalkins, stochastics, all kinds of things built in behind. And what we've done is we have calculated and measured when certain things happen through pattern recognition or specific sinking items, when it's best to get in for scalping, with the high probability of a high win rate would be, and then different set of settings for day trading and swing trading, position trading, and investing. And eventually what we'll have is you can go right in and say, well, I'm a scalper, and you'll click scalp and all the settings will change, and you'll have the perfect entries, the perfect exits with the high probability, with the high win rate, based on what it is you're looking to do. So that's a synopsis of what we're working on. And we have a lot of it built out, and there's a lot more coming. So it's not perfectly ready yet, but it's come a long way. I've been working on it for a long time, and we're having new updates consistently and constantly coming through. My buddy is working on the coding. He's basically, adding all the coding stuff based on what I want, and he's put in some amazing ideas, which is just great. I'm finding that my win rate's already very high, but if we can get it consistently high through all market phases in any environment, even sideways and uncertain, shaky markets, not just big ups and downs, and you can have a high win rate across all assets, all market environments, and all phases, that's going to be a winning situation for any trader, because you're making money, you're making gains. And if we can make it as simple as, I'm an investor, click and all the settings change, and make it, I'm a day trader, all the settings change for you, and it puts it right on the chart, you're going to love it. So we're working on that, and it's a work in progress. And in the meantime, we have the YouTube, where we'll set up the Twitter, the TikTok, the Instagram, probably a website. We'll get more people in the Discord. It's free to come in. Link is in the description. We can hang out, we can grow, we can learn, we can share charts, share ideas, and go from there. If you want to subscribe and you want to get the coding and you want to get courses and one-on-one, you can upgrade, but just come on in. It's for free as well. No pressure. So yeah, that's a little bit about what we're working on. I just wanted to say that in the beginning of the video, just in case people are busy and I get long-winded. So let's move on to some indexes. Now, some of the things that are really cool is this is the Dow, okay? And I indicated in that last video, the blue diamond is where large institutional buyers, a collective of major ones, bought. And if you see the blue diamond, which is right on the pivot low, okay, as well as the June bottom low, which I've been talking about over and over and over, at least the last 10 videos. So many people are bearish, especially if you're watching TV. So many people are bearish, you know, across the different social media platforms. And I'm sitting here like, man, am I an idiot? I'm the only one that's saying, you know, like we should really have like a bounce, you know, from this June bottom low, which is also the top of the COVID peak. Well, it came a little bit lower, but it did spring up and double bounce. And, you know, so far it looks like I've been, you know, correct about it. And I kept saying, we're starting a bullish pivot. And even though this happened, I said, stay in, stay in, stay in, hold the line, trust the system. And boom, now we're being rewarded for it. And I'm going to tell you, it looks like it could go up, but I'm also going to tell you, you got to be cautious, you got to be nimble, you got to be ready to take gains. And we don't know ever how far a rally could go. But when this is blue, that's good. And when it curves, it's really good. And when it curves, it usually rallies. And there's no reason that, you know, we can't get all the way up to this resistance or this one or the descending. And of course, if you break through there and here, I mean, you're got a confirmed uptrend. You're in a whole different, everybody's happy. We're in a bull run. Okay. But we're not thinking bull run. We're just thinking bullish pivot, cautious, capital protection, have your stop losses just above break evens, not a bad idea. Let your winners run. Now we can look for leaders, we can look for bases, we can look for first stage bases, we can look for cup and handles, we can look for breakouts, we can look for maybe not just the energy sector and the dollar. Maybe we can look at other sectors start to show some strength. I noticed that the software sector, as an example, showed some strength. So, you know, this is exciting. We are in a bullish pivot and expect volatility. There's going to be some of this crazy stuff that happens along the way. But again, the way I have my chart set up, even though some of these days might be down days, it still shows you in the cloud and the hike and a she. And again, I'll mention the double bottom and the institutional buying here. There's not institutional selling going on yet. We don't have a pink diamond like we did here. Or here, or here, okay? So we're gonna keep an eye on that, okay? Now, something I wanna show you that's really, really exciting for all of us. Okay, so in our coding, we have something we call the fat finger. It scans a specific type of way in the coding for bottoms, and it's quite accurate, and it's done with real-time data. Now, check this out. On the SPY, let me click the SPY. The fat finger triggered, okay? It doesn't make a lot of mistakes, to be honest. I've been looking back years and years and years on tons of charts through all the sectors and industry groups. It doesn't make a lot of mistakes. It never fired off anywhere. It never fired anywhere. But guess where it fired? Exactly where I was saying in all those videos for this double bottom. Yeah, it came a little below it. It did it again, but when this big candle came, it fired off that white one underneath the arrow. That's our bottom finder. It called down to like within 10 cents of the bottom of Bitcoin. I mean, it's a trustworthy indicator, and you know, you never know what's going to happen in these crazy markets with all these catalysts. But the fact that this thing triggered is really, really good. Okay, that's the SPY. It also happened on the NASDAQ. Check this out. It also happened on the NASDAQ. And again, you know, you're blue, you're curving. Now, obviously, this is kind of sideways movement with a little bit of bullish push there at the end. Notice everything is technically like right on lines and resistances, supports, identical bounces. Again, institutional buying on the pivot, which is a kind of like a hammer. You know, bullish with that wick pushing into momentum, a little bit of funkiness and back up, and we'll see if we hit, you know, through that resistance. I will say the NASDAQ is above its 21-day line. This is impressive. We're not way above it, but we're above the 21-day line, okay? The S&P got an outside day. That's bullish. That's progress. Okay, we're clearing resistances. Very good. Okay, let's take a look at our Russell real quick. Okay, again, the Russell, you know, when this went blue, I said bullish pivot. You kind of got a triple bottom here, pushed up to this resistance, okay, off this big candle. You did get institutional selling. It pushed it down, and then they came in and bought it back. My triangle showed up with the sync maneuver right here on everything. So they came in a little bit before my indicators, or even a little after my hold the line indicator. And then you got a double right here, another one. You had this big engulfing candle, and it came back up to here. But this time you didn't get a sell. You didn't get an institutional sell, even though we have this double top. This is kind of a coiling pattern. It's going to be interesting this week to see where it goes. I'm just going to tell you like this. When you get a bullish pivot, a bear rally in a bear run, they can be fierce and aggressive, and they can run hot and fast to the upside, very fast. A lot of those losses that you've been feeling, they can come back like that, boom, into the green. Now, you never know how fast, you never know how long. Keep an eye on your, you know, resistances, we'll call them. Now, you don't want to just look at these kind of, you know, like I draw in these resistances. You want to look at, you know, your ribbons, your 21-day, your 50-day, like, you know, you want to look at these other things as well, okay? And so you want to be conscious of what's going on your macros, but they can run up and they can run up hot. You just need to understand the pivot, and if it changes, you need to be nimble. And, you know, maybe you want to go directionally to the downside, or, you know, maybe you just want to take your gains. But definitely put a stop in there, I would think, above, you know, break even. And once you get running, then you can start walking up pivot lows and see where it goes, if that's what you want to do for position trading or even investing. So right now, looking good. A lot of good signals. A lot, you know, there are some things that are a little iffy that I'm seeing on the Russell, like this coiling pattern, this double top, but essentially pretty good. Now, we'll look at Bitcoin real quick on the daily. Now, Bitcoin, it called its bottom over here. Okay, the fat finger called it right at 17.6, and it gave us a second one right here. It gave us a second one right here, and that's when I told you to buy, when this went blue. Now, it's been going sideways, but here's the deal here's the deal, and I'm going to show you real quick. I showed it in the last video, but I just want to show you institutional block buying real quick, okay? Okay, so I changed the opacity. Now, we had a bearish, this is a bearish, like institutional large whale sales block right here, this line, and it went down, okay? There's another one, and it went down, and here's another one, and it went down, and here's another one, and it went down, okay? The first time in a very long time, well over a year, we had a whale-style institutional buy zone, which is indicated here in this blue block, okay? Now, in addition to that, you had our bottom finder lit off right there. And you can see that institutional buying is taking place on these diamonds. There's been 4 times, and we're also getting these green arrows. Now, the green arrows have 32 indicators already built in just in that one arrow. We're going to simplify it down so there's not so much on the chart, but we're getting it done, and I'll make it where it's really easy. When everything syncs up, it'll literally just be like boom, buy, boom, sell it. It'll all be behind the scenes. You won't have to worry too much about it. Let's just take this off so it's not so busy. And now on Bitcoin, you establish the bottom, you got a second bottom, you're seeing institutional buying, and I showed you the large whale institutional holdings. Okay, that's going really, really well. So now, I just want to repeat myself that if you have Dow stocks, you want to follow the system, okay? A double bottom is good, okay? This is bullish that the cloud is blue, because obviously when the cloud goes blue, it goes up, right? Okay, and it's also bullish that the price action is all the way above the ribbons. That's huge. It's also good that this is a trend reversal. Okay, it's also good that this is blue and curling right on the Fibonacci circles. Okay, and all your indicators are good to stay in except the stochastic. But sometimes they braid at the top while they go up. So it's all about them syncing, not just one being off and 5 being, one saying no and 5 saying yes. The way I want it to work is with all the different settings and leading and, GMAs and LSMAs and all the lagging and the leading and the different bandwidths and all the different signals types and whatnot. They're all different. So, when they all sync, it's rare, but it gives you the high probability and pattern recognition to win. And so that's what we're working on. So when you see one not good, but all the other ones good, that doesn't mean sell. It's not, they're not all syncing up saying sell. So right now you still want to be in those Dow stocks. You still want to be in your SPY, your NASDAQ, your Russell, and your Bitcoin, but you want to have capital protection if you're profitable for sure. And you don't want to let your losers fall to pieces. But let's look at some stocks. There's some really good movement over the week. This is one I usually don't talk about, but this thing, I made an alert and it went off the hook. Okay, it's Sam Boston Beer. Now, this thing has had a rough run at it for quite a while. Okay, so Sam Boston Beer, has basically been decimated down to, rubble, essentially. And at one point, this sucker was over here at $1,349 a share. It got tore back to this area, which is like I keep showing you, kind of like a bottoming process. And this thing has flashed a bottom right here. It flashed a bottom right here. And look, it has done nothing but go up since and just rallied. Now, it went up $66.12 on Friday alone. Something might want to consider looking into, Now, remember things like Walmart, McDonald's, and alcohol and cigarettes, things like that always do well in recessions. Maybe put it on the watch list. JNUG, if the dollar falls or we go into a really, bad recession kind of thing, gold is going to be good. I have this one. I started buying it down here. It went up. It's kind of come down. I bought a little bit more. I'm just holding it because there's a lot of macro headwinds and, I am profitable on JNUG, but I am actually a little bit red on a couple other ones that I bought that are hedges. But, we have one bad day and those ones go green. So it kind of keeps things from like going up and down too crazy. I'm weighted more that if it's bullish, I go up more than I'm dragged down by the hedges. But I can always change weighting if we really pivot on those macros down. So that's kind of how I do it to deal with this whole bear market. And I do a lot of hedging strategies myself. So yeah, gold would be good. Here's what I want to tell you. If CPI data, ticks down, if it ticks down on core and headline, it'd be great if it was both. If it ticks down on both and we see that these rate hikes that the Federal Reserve has been, issuing, well, that will ignite the market. And that's going to be really bullish. And that's all it would really take to really get a spark going to the upside. Now, the market's already priced in a 0.75 hike for November. And right now it's a little higher, it's right about 50-50. Leaning in the right way that, in December it's a 0.5% rate hike, which is also progress from the week before. So the market is pricing it that we might see a 0.5 rate hike in December. That is also going to be bullish. And remember, markets are forward looking. So we could really have a nice rally on our hands come in. We just don't know how long, and we just want to be cautious and nimble and prepared. We don't want to go all in. We don't want to do rookie mistakes, okay? We want to, pick our spots. That's been established. We want to pick our positions and position sizing. That should be on the forefront of your mind. And you want to be playing around with quality. And, you might actually get a chance to do it right now because everything's been about the dollar and oil, and some of these other sectors are showing some strength. So, This is one I've mentioned many times. I'm actually up really good on it. I'm actually over 20% up on this already. And I've kind of told you about it, so let's just show you what it is. Bulls is an ETN. It's a triple leverage ETN, and you get Netflix, Micron, Intel, Amazon, Tesla, Qualcomm, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Salesforce, Adobe, AMD, Google, Square, and Meta. And I want to tell you, all of these that are in here, not only are they obviously good companies, captains of industries, but they all are showing things like bottoming processes and retests of low supports and bullish behavior in all of them, starting or already just established. So this is good. And I mean, look, this is the lowest you could have got it right here. It was 207, and that's, I think I got it around 214 was my lowest buy. I bought it 3 times now. I wish I owned more. Honestly, this thing is keeping, even though it looks little, it's triple leverage and it's making me good money, guys. So Bulls is a cool one. I got that from my partner, and he was the one that put me up on that. So yeah, real cool. Now XLE, that whole sector, 8% on the week, huge. XOM, Exxon, and Chevron, super good. I play NRGU and Chevron, and I also do Antero Resources, and I do BTU, which is coal. Now let's just take a look at NRGU real quick. Okay, this thing went up $42.64 on Friday, another 8%. Energy is just flying, but we're at a major breakout out of this base. And this is the kind of base breakout like that I look for. This is like, okay, it's a lot of money. If you want 100 shares, it's $57,300 for 100 shares. But I mean, this thing has like $40 to $60 days, like when it's hot. And institutional buyers came in. This is showing you want to be in. Everything is showing you want to be in, and you're at a base breakout. Yeah. Let's just look at Chevron real quick, because it's another one that I've been making alerts on, and I kind of was like, look at this breakout that could go down, and then it broke out. And here it is. This is it. So here's the breakout, kind of base, similar to NRGU, but this one already broke out. So Chevron looking good. I mean, look at the institutional buy there, which was before this even fired off, and my cloud. These guys are good. They sold here. That's what that pink diamond is, and it went down, and then they rebought. I mean, they're on it. They're on it. These diamonds show where the institutional players are moving buys and sell money, in large amounts. So Chevron already broke out, and there is no sell in sight. And we could get all the way back up to retest this, which is actually probably the bigger base. And then if it went above that, I mean, you're not even in phase 4. I mean, this is above the 200. This is already in phase 1 in a bull run. So it only can get better if it goes up. So that looks good. Netflix. Netflix has been on freaking fire, guys. If you've been in Netflix, I mean, look, $21.41 on Friday, and it was what, like over $30 the day before. I mean, I crushed it on Netflix. Netflix just killed. Really good. Yeah, really good. Now, if price action goes above the 200, what's interesting on this one is this actually went green while the one is blue behind it, and all these are firing off. Look, institutional buy, Doji. This went green. This went blue. Look at the huge action. You got 3 green triangles off of green earnings. Okay, if you don't know how to go to earnings on TradingView, you just go to financials like this, and you can look at everything quarterly. This purple line is basically your profit margin. The yellow is net income and the revenue, and you can definitely go annually and check it out. And over here, balance sheet, same thing, annually. So if you want to go to balance sheet, you can just simply come over here and click it, and you can look at overview statements, dividends, and earnings. And a lot of times I'll come to the earnings, and I'll be like, okay, Q4 20 down, Q1 21 up, and then look, up 24.29, up 59.94, up, and then it started to decrease. So yeah, you can, it's very simple if you just have TradingView and you want to take a look at earnings, because we're coming into fundamentals, guys. Trust me, I've been saying it over and over. This has been a technical market, but now we're entering like where fundamentals are going to be key. And you want to have quality We want to find leaders. We want to start looking for breakouts that don't fail, and we want to keep an eye on those macros. We want to exercise caution, be nimble, and use capital protection, and stay in those sectors. Look for institutional support. Let's go back to the core fundamentals that we taught on this, the O'Neill way. Okay, that's my that's my master. That's my Bible. I follow O'Neill, and we're coming into the market where we need to be, not just on technicals. We need to be thinking about earnings per shares, institutional support. We need to be thinking about first stage bases, breakouts, cup and handles. We need to be thinking about this kind of stuff, okay? Now, on semiconductor, I know semiconductors got hurt, but, I noticed from following on semiconductor for so long, this thing actually doesn't get beaten down as much as others. As you can see, it's not like way down like a lot of stuff. And here we go. Just got blue, bouncing off the 200. That's a good buy spot. Bigger candle, you're getting, that's a follow through. So on semiconductor looks good. Here's another one that I have been telling you guys about on this channel that I own a lot of. I have 8,000 shares. I told you I wanted 10,000. I'm currently still down on it, okay? But I wanna show you. It's called FNGU. It's a triple leverage ETN, and I'm down, but I've made a lot of money back this last week. Okay, this is what you get in here. You get 10% of all 10 of these. You get Netflix, Amazon, Tesla, Apple, Nvidia, Google, Baba, Facebook, Baidu, and Twitter. Okay, you get 10% of all those as triple leverage. Now, this thing is blue. Its low point was this support. Its lowest candle ever was 419, 433. I apologize. And you're at 560. Okay, and if you go back and you look on the 1 hour, it went up a little bit in the after hours too. You can see it's coiling up. It's looking pretty good. Even on a 4 hour, we could probably notice it's starting to move, came all the way down. There's kind of like a pivot. And then it's starting to move. And those are good companies. So bulls and FNGU are very inexpensive, triple leverage with the best companies. And, they can be big money makers, guys. I mentioned DFEN when it was $14 on this channel and that it was looking really good. That was about 3 videos ago. It's up to $15.62. I mentioned ERX when ERX was over here, which was like $55, $57, and we're at $66.37 now. I mentioned Lucid with some caution. That's gone up about $1. I mentioned Alcoa, which was aluminum because of Biden banning the Russian exports of aluminum. And this thing has been continuously going up, although their earnings were really poor from, I need to go and look at their earnings. I saw something that alerted me and put me kind of on notice, but yet it still went up, so maybe I don't need to worry. Now, Hut Mining, my buddy was telling me out of Riot, Mara, and Hut that Hut has the cleanest balance sheet, but Mara and MicroStrategies are really correlated well with Bitcoin, and so I'm really considering getting, now that I know the institutional block buy on Bitcoin was where we thought it was, right around that 19,000. I'm thinking about, getting a miner for the long hold. So banks have done well. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, look at this on the daily. I mean, this is bullish movement on the daily for the banks. Looking good. And I'll show you just real quick, Goldman Sachs also looking good. And that's one that I like. So let's just look at some of the big guys, right? The Disneys, the Teslas, the Amazon. So I'll tell you right now, I own Amazon, and Amazon is making a bullish turn. It's making its own bullish pivot to the upside, and we're coming into earnings. We got Apple, Microsoft, Amazon. This is going to be one of those weeks. It could be big winners, big losers, a lot of volatility. So again, we want to be nimble. Got the big guys. The juggernauts are showing earnings. I think Boeing, well, I'll have to look, or we'll just talk through the week, as we go. But I know Amazon, Microsoft, and Apple are. But Amazon's looking good right now. Disney is starting to move. Look at Disney starting to move from my last buy point, this orange line. Disney's starting to move. This BTU, I mean, it just, I know it's kind of looking sad right now, but I have it as a hedge play and had a decent day on Friday. Tesla, I bought more down at that support. I couldn't resist myself. And it basically, Now I have a lot. I mean, I keep buying 100 shirts at a time. I have a lot, but it did come up. You can see that candle, and if we go look here, it went from like 204. Let's see how low it actually went. It went down to 202, huh? Oh, it went to 202, and I think mine was like 206. It was pretty much on this line. So yeah, I mean, and look, there's a bottom finder. So, and if you recall, that 206 is where Kathy Woods bought it off the 200 a long, long time ago when Jim Cramer was making fun of her back here when it came down. Let me back it up even further. Okay, this is when we came off that big bull run, February of 21. We came down, and it came all the way down here, and boom, Kathy Woods dumped a ton of money in. Everybody made fun of her, mainly Jim Cramer, when I say everyone. And then it ran up, and she was able to sell some of that stuff, buy a whole bunch of other stocks that, have gone down, like software and high growth and a lot of stuff that's gone down in the bear market. But remember, she's got a long time horizon, and some of those, they're going to start to pay off, I would think, if we can bounce out of here. Now, all bets are off on the stock market, and we could have a waterfall sell-off straight up. If CPI goes up, Treasuries goes into a bull run, and equities just waterfall, okay? But if CPI ticks down and the Fed becomes just a little bit more dovish, and the bond market stabilizes, we could definitely see a push up. I mean, it could even be the lows. You can't really say. I don't really know. There's a really good case for it to go up and a really good case for it to go down. Right now, technically, you guys know how I feel. I've been saying it while everybody was bearish. I was saying this double bottom, this is the spot, this is the place, this is where the money comes in, this is where you defend the line, this is where the bulls fight the bears. It was volatile, but I told you to stay in and trust the system, and I was correct. And remember, I was the only guy that was saying the market was about to drop before it dropped, not after it dropped for 2-3 months. The only guy. I couldn't find one person out there, not on TV or YouTube, that was saying that. I called it perfectly, and I'm also one of the only people that's like saying that this is going to go up, and everybody is so bearish. But go back to the greats. Go back to O'Neill. Go back to Warren Buffett. When there's blood in the streets, or when all the talking heads are doing all this fear. Here's what you got to understand. You can't trust these guys on TV. Back in December, January, Bloomberg was interviewing all these people, all these CIOs and stuff. And they're like, are you moving to cash? And they're like, no, because retail watches Bloomberg. But I was on YouTube being like, guys, they're moving to cash. They're moving $5-6 trillion. I can see it in the volume. They were lying to you. Then they get back on, they interview the same people, and they're like, are you hedging? Are you shorting? Are you hedging? They're like, we're just starting to hedge. I'm like, bullshit. Because 3 months ago, I sold all my shit, and I was telling you guys, we need a hedge and go triple leverage short. And why did I do that? Because I saw it in the volume. I was following them on the money. They wanted you to lose money. They wanted to control the market over there before you knew about it. I just picked up on it instantaneously. This is you're in good hands. Let's put it that way. I have a different perspective. Perspective is individualism. I could certainly be wrong. I've been wrong on things in my life, but I've been right about a lot of things too. And, I've been very successful and become very, very wealthy by looking at things a certain way. And now that, we're putting this coding in here to be able to look at bottom finders and institutional blocks and institutional buys on specific days and wicks, and be able to take a look at some of this stuff very clearly. Now we have the dark pool data, and we can see the trend direction for the whole day. Before the market opens, we already have predictive information of what the market's going to look like and the trend for the whole day. How powerful is that stuff? And we haven't even shown you a fraction of what we got going on. So come in that Discord. Link up with me and everybody else. They're cool. We're all growing, learning. Every trader or investor that's in the market wants to get, 80, 90, 95% win rates. I mean, that's what we're working on for you. So, it's, we're still building it out, but I'm already getting, those numbers, and I've showed you on the channel. So, yeah, I mean, There's a lot of stuff that's kind of testing its bottoms. Microsoft has really made a move. What did I say a few videos back? I said 225, 238, good buy prices. You're up at 242 now. Airbnb, I said buy it at 110. You're at 120. I mean, DocuSign. Now, DocuSign hasn't really done too much, but I'm just going to say right now, DocuSign, that's the lowest wick right there, which was 42 bucks. And you're up at 47, and this went blue, and you have an institutional big buy. That's a grouping of a whole bunch of large money. And then these arrows fired off, which is each one has 32 indicators in it. So it's time for DocuSign. And DocuSign's a 10x back to the top. It's a 10-bagger, guys. Plus, it's a good company. Now, I'm going to start really stressing on earnings. We've been in a technical run. I'm going to stress earnings coming up pretty much from this point on, I think, because it's definitely going to come down to earnings. It's definitely going to come down to earnings. So we need to be looking at that. Fundamentals and technicals, not just technicals. We got to get into that. NVIDIA, I was saying, look, guys, I know they're getting beaten up. I know there's bans, with some of the chips in China. I know they over-ordered, but just think about it. People are going to drive cars in the future. People are going to use smartphones in the future. People are going to use smart tablets in the future. Chips will be needed. Computers will be bought. Schools will be open. Facilities will be used, and colleges and all kinds of things, and there will be chips for all those computers and all that stuff. And these are the leading companies, AMD and NVIDIA. These are great prices, still at 124, even though you could have got it at the 108 or whatever, and it's gone from 108 to 124 like that. This is still a good buy right now. So, these prices are attractive. Run those pivots. Make sure you like, smash, subscribe, come in that Discord. Hit that Webull link. Go check out my buddy, CryptoMinuteRun. And we'll see you in the next one, guys. Welcome to the wheelhouse.